Hello, good afternoon or evening, depending on where you are, and welcome to another one of our Badge Chat K-12 Digital Badge Show and Tells. Very excited this week to be joined all the way from Canada by Don Presant. Hello, Don.
Hello, Noah. How are you?
I am so fantastic and really excited to have you join us and sharing with us this week. For folks watching live, you can use the Q&A app on your Google Hangout in order to ask questions live on the air to Don. And we will be taking those as we see them to make sure that this is as interactive as possible. I'll try and do a good job of refreshing my Twitter screen on the hashtag BadgeChatK12. If you prefer to ask your questions through that medium, we'll get them there as well. So let's dive right in, Don. You are an active participant in our weekly Twitter chats. You've been a huge part of our community now for a year. We love just your sites and your insights that you offer us. And you tend to bring a lens of the connection between badges and digital portfolios to the forefront most weeks. And so I thought that might be a good place to jump in, is to just ask you a little bit about your interest in digital portfolios and the nexus that they have with digital badging.
Sure. I actually have been interested in electronic portfolios since 2003. And I like to say it's a very sad story, but my honeymoon was at an ePortfolio conference in 2004. And luckily I'm still married because it was in La Rochelle, and it was just a beautiful place to be. But that was Serge Ravet running that ePortfolio conferences. And I've been going every year and picking up new ideas and helping advance ideas, etc. And actually it was in 2012, Serge and I invited Mozilla over there, and Open Badges kind of transformed our ideas about ePortfolios and made them a lot more granular, a lot more modular. And of course, Serge is going yet further now with his talk about blockchains. So for me, ePortfolios, I come more from the adult world, so adults in transition, adults looking for employability, or students entering the workforce and worried about employability. And so for me, an ePortfolio was always something about proving yourself in some way by demonstrating authentic evidence. So for me, it was a natural. And it's really excited Serge at the time, and I think it really has galvanized people at this conference, and it's been growing like a virus for the past 3 years. So
yeah, and I'll make sure to drop a link to Serge's blog on our event page when we're done here for folks who are interested, in case anyone got lost or had their head spin off their shoulders when Don was talking about blockchain. Serge has been talking a lot about blockchain, and if you've heard of Bitcoin, blockchain is the technology behind Bitcoin, and Serge is really pushing some really amazing ideas with blockchain, along with another one of our Badge Chat community members, Terry Martin. Sorry to interrupt there, Don.
No problem. I was just going to say you're likely going to give Serge a chance to talk more about that on a certain day in June, are you not?
Yes, absolutely. Thanks for a great tee up there. Before we go on, for our live folks who are watching us live, just know that you can use your Q&A app on this Google Hangout to ask questions live to Don about digital badges and the role in ePortfolios and assessment. And what Don was referencing there is June 24 Digital Badge Summit. We'll put a link on our event page, but you can go to badge.aurorak12.org/badge summit, where we have just today made registration live for our 2016 Badge Summit. It starts here in Colorado the day before ISTE, and we have a really exciting lineup of not just national leaders, also international leaders in the digital badging space. So please check that out. It's super affordable and should be an amazingly powerful day of learning and sharing. And we'll definitely dedicate more time to that in the weeks that come. But right now, let's jump back in with Don. And Don, I know you have a couple tabs open that you can share your screen with us, just kind of taking us on a bit of a deeper dive on this connection between digital badges and portfolios.
Yeah, and so I probably have an embarrassment of riches here, so I may have to do some selection as we're going through this. So this is actually my portfolio, and I thought I'd start out with this just to give you an idea of what portfolios are, how they can be used. This one is based on an open source platform called Mahara, and it runs a huge system down in New Zealand, over 80,000 people on a multi-school system down there. This one is a shared platform I run up here, mostly for adults. I'm working with a college and a university on this right now. But this is my own personal one. And what it is my professional portfolio, and it's based on a 17-page CV I had to make once. And it would sort of help me get into it. But essentially what I have here is way too many pages, but I have like a summary page. That's what you're looking at right now. So there's a little bit of a story about me. You can head off to my LinkedIn profile. You can just download the big CV if you want. And then we have some badges, and we have this badge, for example, which you'll likely recognize, Noah. This is one I'm quite proud of, which is the questionnaire badge from Badge Chat K-12, and I figure that's one of the higher value badges from that gallery of badges to get. So just to show you here that I also have a video introduction. Now, a lot of students graduating from university are starting to do elevator speeches. So this is my elevator speech, what Deakin University calls Me in a Minute. I've got it playing off YouTube, embedded right into my ePortfolio. And so you can start seeing that you can start mixing this content together. So I could have a Twitter feed. Normally my Twitter feed is coming in through RSS, so on this page. But this page could be just a little block on that other page I was just on. Okay, so basically what you have here is a collection of artifacts, some of which you upload, and some of which you channel in from outside, say YouTube or the Mozilla Backpack or whatever, and then you curate them. So you talk about why these things are here, and then you reflect on your learning that took you to get somewhere. And you typically try and align this to some goal you're trying to reach, which could be trying to get into post-secondary.
This is super awesome. And before you go on to another tab, I do have a couple questions. And for folks who are watching us live, we are with Don Presant of Canada here on our Badge Chat K-12 Digital Badge Show and Tell. And we are right now looking at Mahara, where he has his digital portfolio. And Don, a couple questions that come to mind right away, just looking at this, that some folks might be wondering. We're probably noticing that LinkedIn button, as well as one of the first questions we ask a lot in ed tech is what's it cost? So if you could kind of tell us what's free, what's freemium, and tell us about that LinkedIn button there.
Sure. Well, the LinkedIn button is actually a vestige of what used to be there. I used to have my entire profile embedded on a particular page. And unfortunately, LinkedIn sort of shut some things down, and we can't quite do that anymore. But this basically just takes you off to, let's see if it'll go there properly still. Yeah, so I'm logged in, so it takes me to my page on LinkedIn. So it's just a nice little badge that will take you there. Cost-wise, it's open source software, so it's free, like a puppy, I like to say. So you can download the software for free from GitHub. You can install it for your institution, and if you have people who know how to run LAMP software, you're off to the races. There are also subscription services. So what I'm offering is a subscription service. So that's how I'm working with a college they're doing a ePortfolio pilot, and they're reducing their risk by just getting a shared instance on my platform called Savvyfolio. And I guess if they decide to get serious, they might get their own platform later. So is that Paco?
Yeah, I apologize to our live viewers. I have a new dog who's barking in the background. I'll mute myself here, Don. But real quick, the digital badges that are displayed there, can you just talk through your view of digital badges being one piece of an overall digital portfolio, not necessarily the driver of it?
Right. So basically, digital badges, I say, are nice hardened pieces of evidence you can put in a portfolio and build other things around them. So just as you have to assemble evidence to get a good badge, a typically good badge, you can bring the badge back as a piece of evidence and fit in things like, videos or uploaded documents, or even the text curation. So you could be talking about how hard it was to get that badge and what you had to learn to get the badge. So essentially what you have in an ePortfolio is a place, a hub somewhere you can showcase what you have and arrange it, and what's usually called curate it, and tell stories about it and build a more complete picture. So just as a badge builds a more complete picture, badges together with other evidence build like a wall of evidence.
And with the way that you have your digital badges curated there, it does say those are open badges. So I imagine that someone who's looking at your portfolio does have the ability to click on the badges and view the evidence.
Right, so they would have to know. So I've got the recent ones, and I've got badge community, and these are kind of interesting. This is an interesting one from Finland, where I had to upload 6 different pieces of evidence, which included my Twitter feed and some things like that, where basically I was demonstrating that it was an adult learning promoter. But there's some other ones as well. These are Badge Alliance badges. And then here would be conferences. Now these could be arranged by different themes. Now, what you're looking at here are coming from the backpack, but a recent innovation from the same people who make Open Badge Factory is you can, and I can demo that, you can curate from the backpack, also from Open Badge Passport, which is this new alternative to the backpack that the folks from Finland, Descendum, who do Open Badge Factory, they brought on the market.
Yeah, I think that would be really helpful for our live viewers, as well as folks who watch this record on YouTube, to dive in just a little bit with an explanation of what is Open Badge Factory and what is the Open Badge Passport. And
Sure.
It might be helpful to also just touch on the problem that Open Badge Passport is trying to be a solution to.
Sure, that sounds good. So basically, Open Badge Factory, I met these people at that 2012 ePortfolio conference. They got very excited by open badges. They're an EdTech leader in Finland, and they started experimenting, and they figured there was a niche for them to fill, which was for badge issuers who are concerned about demonstrating the quality of their badges. So it wasn't what they saw as a free-for-all. So it was people who wanted to demonstrate their quality, to be a validated issuer, and to make sure not anybody could be issuing badges. And that's controversial for some, but it was a niche they figured they had to fill. So what we're looking at here.
Would you say, Don, that sorry to interrupt, but would you say that rhymes a little bit with the discussion we had a couple weeks ago with Ben about the consortium work that they're working on there, that some badge audiences might want a little bit more assurances as to who's validating these badges?
Right, and that's often the first question from people. So Descendum's market in Finland is often with educators and trainers, so that was the question they were getting a lot. They didn't really begin with a lot of the community after-school stuff that other badge platforms often began with, things like LRNG. So this is just the interface here to talking about how it works, and you can basically read this yourself by going to openbadgefactory.com. So they've been up and running for over a year. They went pay a little while back, and typically right now, I think in US dollars, you can get a free account where you can issue a few badges. You can get a basic account where you get up to 10 badges, and they're thinking of expanding that. And that costs 120 euro, which is probably 150, 160 American. And then they have the full up version, which is 600 euro, which is under 1,000, basically probably between 800 and 900. And that's for an annual software as a service platform. And what their philosophy was, you want to keep your badges all in one place, and then issue them in a whole bunch of places. So issue them in learning management systems, on your WordPress, wherever, but they're actually being triggered from those, but being created and maintained in your account on Open Badge Factory, and they saw that as a big quality thing.
Gotcha. And for folks who are just joining us live, we're with Don Presant, and you can use the Q&A app on your Google Hangout to ask him questions live right here on the air with us. And in case you didn't just hear it in what he was saying as he was explaining Open Badge Factory, Don is joining us from Canada, Winnipeg, Manitoba, I believe.
Right.
And Don, would you say for folks who are, and Don mentioned LRNG, for folks who are familiar with Cities of Learning, that is part of their new umbrella. You can learn more about them at lrng.org. And Don, would you say for folks who are familiar with the Mozilla Open Badge backpack that the Badge Passport is something in the same sort of realm?
It is pretty much. Let me just come up to the top level here and say that it's a place where you accept your badges. So I look here at my badges. These are all my badges. I have a bunch of them, and I can tag them and then sort them by the tag. So if I want ones for conferences, this brings up all the ones about conferences. So you see there's some similarities, but it's done a bit differently. This is how they do collections. I can import badges. The thing I should say is that Open Badge Factory is now, by default, when you issue a badge in Open Badge Factory, the earner by default is encouraged to send their badge to Open Badge Passport. Okay, and that was the reason. It's to get around. They simplify the process of accepting a badge and bringing it into a system. Once you have a badge, you can share it very quickly you can actually send it to Mozilla. So you can send it to the backpack from here. And you can certainly upload badges from different places, etc. But I think one of the cool things that gets people is you can curate your badges inside your passport on pages. So if I'm looking here, I was showing you some of these badges in my Mahara portfolio. This is a page in my passport, which is a free account for all end users. And I've got my badges lined up here. This looks a bit like a collection share page, right? But look what's here. I've got a video embedded of me delivering a presentation on ePortfolios, badges at a university in BC. I've got a downloadable file, and then I've got a little text box saying, a little bit of curation. And all these things could be interspersed all along the way. Essentially, it's like a single track of blocks going down a page. So you can have badge text, badge text video, whatever. So it's like a single page portfolio. And it was meant to be like a micro portfolio.
I really like that sort of idea of sort of uptexting and contexting, if you will, that it's providing through the portfolio a sort of richer, deeper picture of where your expertise is and why you deserve these badges. And we do have a quick question from Kulveer, and I apologize, Kulveer, if I'm mispronouncing your name there, asking, just clarifying, is this on Mahara or the Mozilla platform?
Neither, actually. This is on Open Badge Passport. So let me log out and...
Oh, before you log out, actually, Don, if you haven't...
I can log in again pretty quickly.
Yeah, I did want to touch on one quick question there, and then I'll let you go demonstrate the Mahara versus Mozilla for Kulveer. When you were hovering over one of your badges there, it gave you all these tags options. I know you've spoken about that in the past in our chats, and wanted to give you a chance to kind of speak to that a little bit as far as how you think tags might play a role as we move forward with badges on the idea of learning pathways.
Yeah, tags, I think, are a good short-term solution to learning pathways. So if a community can agree on tags and to use common tags, that's a great way to alert each other about badges that are available in certain areas that you're interested in. So those could be ISTE skills for EdTech or whatever. So if you use the ISTE terminology and people consistently use that, then it's a way of signaling each other, almost like hashtags, right? So that's one way of doing it. It's a little difficult to police and control, so sometimes it can get a little like spaghetti. So where I think people are moving is to say, not just a tag, but we're going to add an extension. We're going to add a sort of a module onto Open Badges that say, this points to a skill framework, and it's this skills framework, and within that skills framework, this is a skill we're talking about. So that it starts being interpretable by computers, by programs, instead of a human having to figure it out and know how it goes. So then you start getting interesting things like searching for badges that fit that ISTE skill in that framework at that level.
Awesome. I know that definitely connects to some other conversations we've had here, like with badge discovery, that they're definitely encouraging users to use tags to make them discoverable. And your talk about the extensions in the next version. I don't know if it's going to be 1.3 or 2.0 of the OBI, but hopefully folks who attend June 24th at the Badge Summit here in Colorado will get a session with Badge Alliance Executive Director Nate Otto on that very topic. And please do keep those questions in the Q&A coming for us. And Donna, I know we interrupted you as you were about to navigate over to another tab and share something else with us.
Oh, no, that's okay. So I just wanted to say that this one is a free account. By the way, you can get a trial account over at Open Badge Factory and a free level, but this is free for end users. They'll probably have some kind of subscription value for organizations who want to attract people with certain badges, but that's not implemented yet. So I encourage you to go there and just get an account and import some badges and start playing around with pages. So I just wanted to go back to the idea of, well, actually, I wanted to show you first in here. This is, I'm on the Big Finish system right now. And this
so
is
to clarify, this is Mahara again.
This is Mahara running in Finland for about 50,000 users across multiple schools. And I just have a little account on it. I have a group there, and it's called a course group. And this is how you can start using portfolios almost like an LMS, except a very informal one. Okay, so I'll have, where is it now? The return box, yeah, I think that's it. So the return box, I'm saying, okay, your assignment is you have to give me a portfolio that shows your employment ready, okay? And you need to do it. So here's the return box, and the students, you know, Romuald has sent in his return, and let's have a look at it. I've already marked it, actually. I've given him an 80, rather arbitrary value. But this is the profile he did to get it. Okay, so it's a couple of pages in his profile, and it's a little similar to mine, you might see. Downloadable resume, a little elevator speech. He's got some certificates. He's got a little bit of his employment history. He got some pictures from his past and stories about the pictures. That's very important. And then on the next page, he's done a job match to say, here are the requirements for this position of electronic assembler. And all the requirements are going down the left, and he's got how he's matching up on the right. And this is just an ad hoc table that he's put together in his portfolio. And it's something that they call in Minnesota a T-bone cover letter. So basically to say, you know, just make it easy. Don't make me think. Show me how you line up. Don't make me have to guess and poke and prod. So for example, testing it, he's got a video of himself testing. And if I went over here, you'd see this video, okay? So where'd that go? Yeah, I went back here, hang on. So I think that's pretty good. That's definitely a pass. So I'm going to give him that 80. So I'd not only give him an 80, I can decide I'm going to give him something else, which is, sorry, it's working a little slowly here. Back into the course group. And badges. I can issue a badge. I, as the person in charge of this one group, I don't have to be in charge of the entire system. I can just be in charge of this one group as an instructor. I can decide Romuald gets a badge. And I've got him there, and it's issued today. It could have an expiry date, but no, I won't do that. Let's just issue that badge. So right from within the ePortfolio system, I've decided somebody's given me an evidence package that aligns with the criteria, and I've issued them the badge. But I haven't issued it from Mahara. I've issued it from Open Badge Factory, which is up here. I'm here on my Open Badge Factory account, And here's that work-ready badge, which I have put together on Open Badge Factory. So essentially, there's an API, there's a connection between the systems, and inside the portfolio system, I'm reaching out and saying, give a badge to Romuald. He has an excellent thing. So Romuald will get an email that says, you've earned this badge. Do you want to push it to Open Badge Passport? And he pushes it to Open Badge, and then he can bring it back into his portfolio or keep it in his passport. Sorry, I'm running out of breath there. So basically, this answers a question that I was
Don,
looking.
real quick, one question that I have, just in case folks are wondering about the difference between open badges and not open badges. This is an open badge that you're issuing, and so it is portable, and whether folks are viewing it on Mahara or on the Badge Passport, they'll be able to view the evidence as well.
Exactly, or on, and they can easily put it into their Mozilla backpack as well. So it'll be validated if they push it into the Mozilla backpack. So it's good in the backpack, it's good in the passport. There's other, starting to be other storage platforms as well. So Badger has a storage platform, and there are a few others starting to pop up. They're not connected yet, but I think that will come. So I just wanted to say that there's a really interesting blog post over the weekend of somebody talking about admissions offices in post-secondary getting more and more interested about the community mindset of the students coming in, their ethical framework, whether they care for other people, and they're looking for evidence of that. So moving away from just marks. So it can go several directions, but I've started to play around with some ideas of how a student trying to get into, say, an Ivy League college, and this was about Ivy League colleges, can demonstrate their skills beyond just academics. And it's a combination of portfolios, these badges, and doing a co-curricular and extracurricular story.
And
so,
Don, I think a lot of folks will definitely be interested in that blog post you mentioned with the connection to higher ed. So if you remember, as soon as we sign off here, if you wouldn't mind dropping that link on the event page, so folks who are watching this live or the recording are able to click on that link and get that reading. We'll also be sure to add it to our Badge Chat K-12 Flipboard as well.
Sure, it should be there, but if it's not, I'll put it there for sure. So we're running out of time, are we not?
We are. The time does fly on us, and Don, I just really want to thank you for taking time out of your busy life to word and share with us this afternoon. And I apologize to anyone who listens to this for the barking dog. I have a new schnauzer, and he's loud, so I apologize. And I'm all on my own managing him today. So sorry about the barking in the background. It won't happen again. Don, I definitely want to turn over to you for the last couple of minutes. Do you have any closing thoughts for anybody who's watching?
Yeah, just to say that I'm happy to answer any questions. This page you're looking at here is the link that we're talking about. There's a slide share where I go into a lot more detail about badges and portfolios and the kinds of things they can demonstrate. This is the Smart Evidence thing. It's a big project that's underway down in Australia for Mahara, and it's about evidence mapping and mapping to outcomes and saying whether particular outcomes have been met or not. And it's done for post-secondary at the program level outcome, but it could be used in K-12 really easily, I think. And somebody demonstrating they have particular outcomes. And that's a really exciting development down there. Beyond that, the blog post I was just referring to is right here, so you can follow that up and have a look at it.
Yeah, and thank you to Nate Otto. He actually just shared that with us, and so I will post that right now to our event page for anybody who's following along. I should appear on our event page momentarily, a link to that blog post. Thank you, Nate, for sharing. And again, for anybody who wasn't with us at the very beginning of this, we're at the Badge Summit on June 24th here in Aurora, Colorado, just minutes from the DIA airport, and another 15 minutes from where ISTE will be taking place in downtown Denver. That is now live. There's a link on the event page, but it is badge.aurorak12.org/badge summit. And again, just Don, thank you so much for being with us and sharing just so much of this genius of what you're working on. I think that the connections between digital badges and their place in a digital portfolio are really, we're at the tip of the iceberg. And I think that anybody who watches this is going to have their head explode off their shoulders as far as the work you're already done. And I can't imagine what's going to come in the coming months.
Well, it'll be interesting. And so Epic in Bologna in October 27th and 29th, and certainly we'll be talking about more of it on June 24th. So I think people just need to stay tuned.
Awesome. Well, hey, thank you so much, Don, and to all of our live viewers, anyone who watches this on YouTube, thank you so much for joining us. We are on Twitter every other week at #BadgeChatK12, and we alternate between that and these Google Hangouts where we have an opportunity to do show and tells like the one we just had with Don Presant. Don, thank you so much again for your time, and have a great night.
Great. Bye, everybody.